So here we go again. I've been back on the auctions and I've picked up myself a couple of bargains that I think could turn out to be really good. However, they're all the way in London and I have blind bid on these, so I have absolutely no idea what they're going to be like by the time I get there to pick them up. Now, over the weekend when I was bidding on these bikes, I had every intention of driving up to London myself and picking them up. Unfortunately, over the weekend, my van developed a bit of an issue and it's now in this morning having a new clutch and flywheel, which is a bit annoying because I've only had the van, what, 5 or 6 weeks, and I've done maybe 2,500 miles, and it's stinging me for the best part of £1,000 for a new clutch and flywheel already. But these things can't be helped. But luckily, my mate Jack has stepped in to take me to London to pick up these bikes. And Jack has got a very nice Ford Transit with an MSRT body kit. I definitely think I need something looking like that on my van to spice things up a bit. But we got to get through the repairs first. So before we get on the road, I'm going to give a big shout out and thank you to Jack, and a shout out to his business, because Jack actually runs a motorbike delivery and collection service. So check him out on Facebook. It's Bucks MX Transport. He is one of the cheapest in the game and he is second to none. So massive thank you, Jack. Let's get on the road to London. So we are here. That was a pretty easy run up. A couple of interesting cars along the motorway there. That sports car that we passed was a Gordon Murray T50. I've never seen one of them in my life. That thing is valued at £2.36 million, and we overtook it in a Transit Custom on the motorway. But we are here and we are ready to collect. So let's take a look at what I got and get it loaded up. First one is in. That is a Honda SH125 moped, and it is rough as all hell, and it has literally tipped oil everywhere. And the second one is in. That is some sort of Chinese off-brand scooter. As we know, I love a Chinese off-brand motorbike. Are both rough and ready, and I can tell you that delivery box will be coming off first thing when I get it back, because that thing is hideous. And just like that, 3 hours and something has gone by. Big run down the M4 and we are back at the workshop, ready to get these mopeds offloaded and see exactly what we have bought. So here they are. This is my new Honda SH125 and my Mei Ching something or other 125. Don't actually know the brand. It is a Chinese brand that I've never heard of before, but this one's a bit rough, but it's not overall too bad, whereas the Honda looks like it's been crashed in lots of different directions. We got a broken fender, cracked panels, missing brake, cracked panels, ripped seat. This thing is pretty junk, but the Chinese one looks intact. Oh, the Honda one is missing a battery. There's a little bit of water in there. I mean, it's missing the oil cap or dipstick. That is why it leaked oil everywhere when we picked it up earlier. And it has got, on the other side, somewhere, there, a disc lock, which means you can only roll it so far before you have to pick it up to move it. So that is going to be a bit of a task. I'm pretty sure that did not come as standard, but someone's handiwork there. Ding dong! What an absolute joke. And then when it comes to the Chinese one over here, this one's a 2016, so it is a hell of a lot more new than the Honda, which is a 2005. But this one has got the steering lock on, so I've actually already gone ahead and popped this panel. I'm going to take that steering lock out and I'm going to wire up a rocker switch to see if we can get some power to the bike. I mean, there is a battery in it somewhere, I think, but who knows? Let's dig into it. So, quick 3 bolts off there and the steering lock and the ignition are out. So, let's put this plug on a rocker switch and see if we can get some power through it. So before we go putting the rocker switch on and I waste time wiring, you just get a bit of wire, connect the two sides of the plug, and we got lights, so there is power. Not much power, but it's trying to start. So, we need to find the battery, get that charged, sort that ignition out. So, there is some life in the Chinese one, and there's definitely a battery in there that needs charging, and then obviously I need to rig up an actual ignition or at least a rocker switch so that I can, I mean, using a little bit of cable like that, I probably shouldn't have showed you how to do that, but, you know, that kind of, it gives me hope for this bike. But I'm going to see if I can find the battery and get that on charge. Now, presumably, the battery is under the floor. That is absolutely minging. I'm guessing. There she is. So the battery's all charged up and the switch is rigged up. But before I get even more into that and see if it actually will start, let's take a look at some other things and then I'll get on to the prices. Down the front end, the seals seem okay. There's no oil. I've given them a good push. They might be a bit low on oil because they do seem to move a hell of a lot, but they are damping. Whether they'll pass the MOT, I have no idea, but there's a lot of other things we need to sort out before then. On the Honda, the forks are good. There's no pitting, there's no oil, there's plenty of damping in them, so not worried about them on that. See, as I said, the Honda's going to need a battery, probably going to need a whole new, well, definitely going to need a whole new lock set, but it may need an actual ignition, because I'm not sure if that one's going to be quite as easy to hotwire as that one. The Honda is in a lot worse wear, or a lot worse condition than its Chinese counterpart here. So once I put the battery back in this one, I can test all the electrics to make sure the horn, the lights, the indicator, all of that are working. But this one is looking fairly promising because it's not too bad. The Honda, on the other hand, that's a bit worse for wear. That's going to be a bit more work. It might even need some panels and things, or whether I can mend any of them, I'm really not sure. But, you know, they were so cheap. Now, let me get on to telling you about how much I paid for them. So obviously I bought these once again on a police auction. So these were seized by the police or the DVLA for one reason or another. Maybe they were being without tax, without MOT. Who knows? Or insurance maybe. I have no idea. But they were seized by the police. They just picked them up and took them away. I mean, obviously they've just picked them up and took them away because this one's still got a disc lock on it, which is making it quite difficult to move around because I haven't quite got to cutting that off yet. Even though the Honda looks like it's had a couple of bumps and maybe a proper accident, it has not actually been recorded at any point as a category write-off because the auction house I use do tell you that. So although they're very rough and they've got no keys, and this one has quite literally still got somebody's lock still on it, they are clean title bikes. So they've not been recorded as stolen or damaged or, you know, anything like that. And I do actually have the logbooks coming through for both of them. So clean title, legitimate bikes. Now let's get on to what I paid. Now obviously I bid on these blind, and I was getting a bit carried away because I was bidding on about 5 or 6 bikes altogether, because bidding started at just £5. Now if I'd picked them up for that, that would have been absolutely fantastic, but I paid just £91 for the pair of them. So out of that £91, the winning bid on the white one back there was £45, and on the Honda here, just £25. Obviously there's fees and things that go on top of that, which take it up to the £91 total, but £91 is the total cost of just purchasing the bikes. Now, if I'd gone up in my own van, I would have the fuel cost on top of these, but obviously my mate Jack took me all the way up there. So again, big thanks to Jack, big shout out to his business, Bucks MX Transport. So I haven't got the fuel costs on top of these because I've actually got something sorted out with Jack for something else. So I don't have any fuel costs, but we did travel just inside the ULEZ zone in London, which is really annoying because it was like less than 3 miles into the ULEZ zone and we weren't even in there half an hour. But there is a £12.50 charge that I had to pay for the ULEZ charge. So if you add that on, that's £103.50 then if you break it all down, which is not bad for two mopeds. I mean, you can't even buy a project moped half the time on Facebook Marketplace for, you know, everybody wants 150, 200 quid for a non-runner. That's probably nearly as bad as the Honda. So I don't think that's too bad for two mopeds where one might possibly run. So let's get back to finding out if that one runs. So I'm going to stick the battery on it. We're going to hit that switch and we'll see if she goes. Okay, so switch didn't really work, so that was a waste of time, but headlights are on. Problem with the main beam that I need to work out. Indicators front and back. Both sides. That works. Horn. Hazards. Lovely stuff. You have to hold the brake in and hit the button. So it's trying to start, but it's not going. So could be no fuel, could be the carb needs cleaning out, something along those lines. I don't know, we'll have to dig into that, but it is trying to start. Okay, so I was just going to throw the battery in the Honda, see if I could do something similar with the ignition, but this thing is held together with so many little extra screws because all the pieces are loose. And I don't know what the hell is going on in there. This thing is going to require some minor open heart surgery to actually get to that ignition and see if there's any life in this thing. So that one's going to go on a bit of a back burner for now. So a bit of research required for the Honda and a bit of fiddling required for the Meihyang or whatever the hell that thing's called. But 91 quid for two bikes, one which almost runs, if you could say that, is really not that bad. So I think these could be fun. I've not done any scooters or mopeds, whatever you want to call them, on this channel before. So I think these could be quite fun because they are dog rough. So there is a lot of potential for me to, you know, to take them up a good few notches here. Now, I don't think they'll be too challenging. That could just be my optimism. But, you know, they're scooters, mopeds, you know, they're pretty simple things to work on as far as I am aware. I've done a few, you know, in years gone by, but never done any on this channel. So quite excited for them. So if you are interested in following the journey these mopeds are about to go on, then make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss any of the upcoming videos. And as always, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed.